Hey guys, this is Rose Lazo with eXp Realty on the Quarter team. And today I have a special guest, Geoffrey. He is my lender. And today we're going to be talking about a lot of things in regards to, for you as an agent, what are the things that you should be looking out for, the type of lender you should be working with, key things that you should know as an agent or even as a new agent as you're working with your lender. So, Geoffrey, go ahead. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Geoffrey Weil, Willow Bin Mortgage. I'm a local lender here in Galveston. Been here on the island now, my wife and my two daughters, for about 8 years. Been working with the Quarter team, going on about 3.5 years now, and one of the best teams out there. Such great people, and we just love helping folks and taking care of our clients and working together as a true partnership.
Geoffrey, tell me, as a lender, how long have you been doing the lending side?
Sure. So this year is actually, I just came up on my 4th year anniversary.
Yay!
Yeah. So in the big scheme of things, it's not that long really in the business, but we kind of make a joke sometimes. I came in the industry at a really interesting time, a very challenging time where the market has shifted kind of only upward since. And just recently now, we've started to see a slight decline in the rates, right? We're starting to drop. So through kind of coming in these last 4 years, I've only learned through a challenge and an upward momentum, which has sort of fast-tracked my learning, deals with, as we like to say in the industry, deals with like a little more hair on them, a little challenging. So I've had an opportunity to really take in a lot and learn a lot in a short amount of time. And so I feel like right now, I feel confident I can get in the ring with some of the guys that have been doing this for 10, 15 years and hold my ground and really take care of our people, our clients. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I love that. Yeah. So one of the key things that I wanted you to talk about here today, as we're talking to newer agents, because from my experience, I'll just share a little bit about my experience, and I've shared this with you before, is that when I first became a real estate agent, I was working with a lender, and it was never really consistent, and it felt like I was always chasing that lender down and stuff like that, and it wasn't really a true partnership. And I thought that that's just how your relationship with a lender would be. And that isn't necessarily the truth, though. And I found a completely different type of relationship with you as my lender. And I just wanted to touch base on that for newer agents, that this is your business and you have control on who you want to work with. And so what are some key things that an agent should definitely keep an eye out for when they're, interviewing or working with different agents or lenders?
Absolutely. Great question, Rose. And I really appreciate you saying that's the best compliment that you can receive as a lender, right? And really as any type of business partner. And I think the thing that hit home the most that you just said for me is true partnership, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember our first meeting, and it really was kind of like a meeting, but also an interview for you, right? Because you have in this business, the way it's set up, most of the time, the clients will come to the realtor first.
Yeah.
And so the realtor is, as we say on our end, a referral partner, right? Yeah. Keyword partner, right? And we'll touch on that. But really what I found is that we need to bring that partnership to life, and meaning that we have each other's back. Mm-hmm. And just like in a partnership in a marriage, you need to be able to be responsive, right? Yeah. And feel the other person and understand what are their needs, and are you meeting those needs? And unfortunately, I do hear that a lot in this industry, where it's like, hey, I'm having trouble getting a hold of my lender. I'm not getting full clarity. And so in the beginning, when I first got in this industry, I kind of noticed that a lot. I just said, that doesn't seem right. And I want to make sure that that's something that I bring to the table that's a little bit different. And so in that partnership, of course, is it important that you answer your phone and you follow up? Sure. But those are kind of the basics, right?
Yeah.
If we're not even doing those, then, you really got to ask yourself, what are we doing? And so to kind of set myself apart, and what we've done over these last few years is I've really tried to be a partner in the whole process, including even in the beginning, the sale of the deal itself, right? Having the agent being able to lean on me and, hey, I feel like the clients are getting close. Can you help us wrap this up, right? Can you help us close it in a sense?
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid of that. And as you know, in our experience, I'm even willing to call a listing agent, share some of the strengths of the buyer, feel out, ins and outs of what are some of the buyer's concerns. And essentially, right, what we're getting at is we need to be able to feel like we can jump in and get involved to support the agent.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think that one of the things that I've enjoyed so much about my relationship with you as my lender is that you whenever I have a new listing, and this is just on the listing side for me as an agent, you're always like, send me the address, I'll pull some numbers, and so that I can have for my binder that's going to be living in that house so people can look through. You will, offer to do certain things for my open houses that I've never experienced with any other lender. I know that in relationship with you in regards to our buyers, like you're always like, just send me the house. I'll get the numbers together based off of whatever offers made. We'll run through the numbers with that client. And one of my absolute favorite things that you do is that you get all the documentation before we even approve. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because newer agents might not be aware of that part.
Absolutely. So yeah, these are some great points that you made. And, just to touch on these to start, as far as a true upfront pre-approval is concerned, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of things at stake here, right? It's not just both of our time and starting with you as the referral partner, your time and your investment. We also are protecting the client's time, right? There's financial aspects that are involved in this as well.
And there's also a lot of emotional.
That's right.
So, because literally I've had deals fall apart just because the client was like, this is too overwhelming, I can't do this.
That's right. And
it was all because the approval wasn't done
correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it gets stressful. And I think, I wouldn't lie that some nights, it keeps me up at night, just stressed of like, hey, is this, are we going to be able to make this work? Right. And that part of it is that, and when I feel that stress mostly, it's not when the deal is actually under contract working. It's in the beginning, right? Beforehand, because I see where the loan is at, the structure of it, how can we make this work? And I'm contacting underwriters up front. I'm asking them, hey, I got some wonky income here. What about this scenario? And really, for me, by the time we go under contract, I'm 90%, right, in a place of just feeling really good. And the reason I say 90%, because we know in this industry, there are still things that come up, appraisals, inspections, all that. And I think one of the things that you mentioned in the beginning, okay, is that one of the big things about this partnership is that we understand, right, as you all know as agents, that you all do a lot of work up front, a lot of work that you don't necessarily get paid on, right? And so I think one of the misconceptions that happens and that lenders forget about is that we're in this together, right? Yeah. And most of us lenders are commission-based employees, just like a real estate agent is. And so I think what we need to remember is that we can't be afraid to get on the same level with you guys. We can't be afraid to invest our time and our resources. And even like you said, just like you guys are out there, our emotion and working with these clients and knowing, do I really want to put all this effort into this with the thought of maybe this isn't going to work out? The buyers don't really seem too serious about it. I'm going to focus on these other clients but yet you, the agent, you are doing it. You're doing the work. And if your partner isn't supplementing that same energy, that same attitude, then there's a disconnect, right?
Yeah.
And we want to have a symbiotic type of connection as we have been developing together, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think that to just kind of touch on that and wrap that up is that the real estate agents are out showing homes at night, in the evenings, right? After traditional working hours.
I was last night.
There you go, right? Yep.
I was showing at 7:00 in the evening. Yeah.
Y'all are grinding on the weekends, right? And for us, we're in a traditional sense, we're bankers, right? We're
Yeah.
mortgage bankers. And the bank is a 9 to 5, holidays are off, all that. Well, that's when you guys are grinding the hardest a lot of times, on the holidays, on the weekends, after work hours. If your partner isn't teaming up with you that way, what kind of partner is that really that you have, right? And so my wife knows, sometimes it's 8:00 at night and I'll get a phone call and I know it's like, hey,
that was probably me.
Yep, yeah, there you go. And hey, but it's because if you're gonna do this and you're gonna be a partner, then what is a partner really? It's like, well, hey, it's Saturday. I'm probably we'll call them on Monday. They're not open on the weekends or and look, I'm not. Some people have been doing this a long time, so they've gotten comfortable and they know that, hey, I've done my, and I get it, right? You doing this 10, 15 years, it's like, I don't really want to pick up the phone on a Sunday, right? And so that's the thing about me is that I've been doing this just long enough that I bring everything else to the table, but I also am committed to partnering up the way that is going to be advantageous to the agents. And by all means, I'm not perfect. I still am learning. I make mistakes, but I'm going to jump in with you guys and grind it out together in a true partnership.
Yeah. And I think that if you're a newer agent, just be aware that you're going to be getting hit up by so many different types of lenders, different lenders. My suggestion is always to interview them, but also keep in mind, what are your needs? So for me and our team, we really are dealing with luxury properties, with clients, $1 million properties, and we're dealing with millions of dollars.
Yep.
and our
high pressure.
Our sellers, our buyers, there's a lot of pressure to make sure that when we go under contract, at least 90% sure that we're going to get through it, right? That it's not going to be on the lender's part. It's going to be, inspection or appraisal or, the things that we have no control over. But the things that we do have control over, we're making sure that we're taking care of it on the front end. So please, if you are a newer agent, remember that when you are interviewing partnerships with different lenders, and please make sure that you are keyed into the things that you are going to need. Make sure that when they're doing the pre-approval, right here,
there you go. Yeah.
when they're doing the pre-approval, that they are taking documentation on the front end.
That's right.
I can tell you from experience with a previous lender, he did not take documentation on the front end. He was in the business for many years, and so he felt like if he could just look at just look at the numbers and know if he would be approved or not. And often the last 3 deals I did with him, they all fell through.
The documents come in, and there are items that can come up that are surprises, right? Mm-hmm. And really, at the end of the day, we are going to need those documents eventually, anyways. So why not get them up front, right? Yeah. And I think what you said, Rose, is so important. Is that, look, I'm just going to be straightforward with you on this. Is that all of us lenders, at the end of the day, 99% of us have all the same products, right? Yeah. And so that's one big thing that that I've learned and I've seen, is that we love to kind of get a foot in the door with a product, right? Yeah. Hey, I got this new exciting thing and this and that. And it's like, so do I, right? Yeah. And we all have the same products, and there's no magic rates out there, that hey, I got this. It really comes down to you, for you as the agent, is that, like you said, I love the way you said that, is that even though when our first meeting about the interview, it didn't really feel like an interview.
It didn't.
But looking back on it now, I realize that the questions you asked, you were investigating your needs. Mm-hmm. Are you going to be able to meet the things that are important to me, right? And so, and really, it was an opportunity where, it made me kind of, in retrospect, think about, hey, can I meet this? Can I bring this to the table? Yeah. This person has some specific needs that they need met. And I think that's really the best advice that we can give you, is in the connections that you're making with a new lender, is that it's about the partnership. Can we build a bond and trust. Can I trust you that when I hand over my lead to you, that you're going to take care of them, right? There are many leads that Rose and Cynthia and the quarter team will bring to me, and I have to call them back and say, hey, it's not going to work, right? We have an issue here, whether it's credit or income or some unique item that's just not,
or like the time span that they worked at a certain job.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be anything, but what we want to figure that out is as quick as possible, because we want to protect your time. That's a big thing too. One big mistake that we make in this industry is we get really excited. We got a client. They seem really upfront about their financials. We take them out, maybe even show them a few homes. And then finally be like, hey, let's get you in front of the lender. And then the lender calls you, hey, it's not going to work. And now, how much time have you invested, right?
Yeah.
I always tell, and I've been
4
telling,
or 5 hours easy.
That's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell the quarter team, and I always tell Rose, hey, let me protect your time.
Yeah.
Get them to me as soon as possible so that I can tell you, hey, you got a green light and let's go and let's get this going.
One of the things that I really wanted to touch on is how we communicate with when we get a new lead. So for me, when I get a new lead, whether it's at an open house or if someone just texts me and say, hey, Rose, I want to meet with you. I want you to show me some houses. The first thing that I do is I set up a meeting with them to do the buyer's presentation. So I go over what to expect when you're buying a home so that it's not an emotional hit while they're going through the process. And I often invite Geoffrey to come meet with us. But before we meet with them, I will send out an email with Geoffrey and my information, introducing them electronically, and or sending out a text message where they meet also in a group text. And what I've found is that the person who's buying realizes, oh, she's serious. This is a real process, right? And so,
absolutely.
In regards to how the different ways that you do that.
Sure.
When we have newer clients, does that make it easier for you when you're introduced to them first? And then when we go,
Yeah, great question. And I think, Rose, you have such, and I've told you this from the beginning, you have such professionalism, right? That you bring to the table. And I think that's one of the things that really helps you stand out is that your introduction really is a very unique and a standalone presentation that you present. And so I really want to compliment you on that. And it keeps me on my toes too, right? Because I'm like, okay, I got to live up to this, right? But it makes it a lot easier too. And what I found is that, I think it's really easy to share a link with a client. Hey, this is the lender, you're going to apply here. And then I'll get the numbers and I could even get back to you. And I could save a lot of time that way, right? Because I can just, hey, it's not going to work. I saw their numbers, right? Or, hey, it looks good. Like I'll get some time to connect with them.
Yeah.
But again, right, what we're really in the business of, when you think about it here, it's not the business of deals. It's the business of relationships.
Yeah.
Because these relationships that we're forming, sure, there's a deal here right now, but there could be a deal later down the road again. And we want them to remember that we didn't just help them close on a home, but we established a relationship and we established a bond together, right? And so I think for us, when we have that initial contact, the first thing I do as a lender is I want to get on the phone with the buyer. I want to have a conversation where they can hear my voice and we can establish an initial baseline of where we're going to build the bond and the trust from there.
Yeah. I love that you do that, but I also love when you are, when we go to the meetings and I go over all the stuff and you're just like, okay, well, you're approved for this and that. And they get so, they light up. Or if it's not that case, we always come up with a plan.
That's right.
And one of my favorite things is I have several clients that we are working through their credit. We're working through time frames that they need to meet, all these different things. And I'm keeping up with them on my end. And every once in a while I'm like, hey, Geoffrey, if you want to make this phone call, and he does. Again, it's a partnership, and it's one of my favorite things. And for you as an agent, know that if they're not approved right now, that's okay. They will be approved eventually.
That's right.
You want to make sure that your lender's partnering with you on getting them there. They have access to information that we don't have access to. So they can get on a phone call and say, hey, look, in 3 months, you need to pay this off. In 2 months, you need to do this. And it makes a world of difference. In 6 months, they're purchasing a home, and they can atone all of that to you, to the work that you've been doing, the follow-up that you've been doing.
And it's like, if you think about it, it's a secondary partner in your follow-up, right? We know that y'all are encouraged to be using a CRM and keeping up on these clients and doing your follow-ups. But how great would it be to have a secondary person that's helping you stay on top of them? Hey, Rose, great news. I know it's been like 6 months, but hey, remember that lead? We got them their credit where they need to be. Oh, really? Like, oh man, it's like, I've been grinding so much, I forgot we were working on their credit, right? And somebody like,
or you can put an alarm in your CRM.
That's right.
I do that. I put an alarm after I meet with Geoffrey. I'll put in a note, need to follow up within 3 months. Here's this date. And then I set a task, and it pops up in my email on that morning and says, hey, don't forget to follow up with this person.
That's right.
So,
and that's why it's so important that we do establish, as the lender, the initial contact, have a phone conversation before you even take the application, before you look at the numbers, right? And again, it may be thought of as like, okay, this is risky because it's a time investment. Well, what if it doesn't work out? Well, I have had multiple clients, like you mentioned, where on day one, I take their application, we have some credit challenges or income, and a year later, we're purchasing a home, right? Because we helped them, we came up with a plan, and man, you talk about establishing a bond in a relationship. Those are the clients that I have have built the biggest bond with, right? Are the clients that we started from ground zero, we worked our way up, and now they have the American dream of home ownership. And that's a big part of like what you touched on the emotional side of it. Because when I first initially pull an application, sometimes the client will really feel very discouraged, right? Like, where do I even go from here?
Yeah,
right?
especially first-time home buyers. We have it often where they're just like, I'm not going to qualify, and then they do qualify.
That's right. That's
You're
right.
just like,
that's the best.
Great.
Those are the best ones for sure.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite lines that I'll tell the clients is, I'll say, hey, look, you're getting ready for a 30-year mortgage, right? So what's 1 year of preparation really to take on a 30-year mortgage? And when they think of it that way, they're like, oh, you know what? That's actually true, right? And so we're always trying to, on the challenging clients, we're always trying to put a positive spin on it, because it is positive at the end of the day. If you're heading towards a home ownership and it's going to take you 6 months, a year to get there, then why not? On the other side of it, and sometimes we have to like change hats, right? It's like you said, now we have a buyer that's going in and purchasing a $1 million home.
Yes.
That has all their ducks in order,
row,
right? And they want to make sure that, hey, are you on it? Are you taking care of it? Are you returning my calls? Are you being transparent and looking for the best deals out there? And that's what we're committed to.
Yeah.
To bring that to the
I
table.
love that you said that, because I think that there's a misconception in regards to luxury. And I say this all the time, is luxury is not a price point. It's a service.
Yep.
The $1 million buyers will come if your service is good, if you are top luxury service.
That's right.
And we give luxury service to everyone, from our $200,000 home buyers to our $500,000 home buyers to our $2 million home buyers. You know, we provide that service.
That's right. And I remember my first $2 million purchase that we did here in Galveston. And I remember thinking, when we first got into it, I was a little like, oh man, what's this buyer going to be like? And I hope I can handle this. And what I realized is that I took a breath and I said, you know what? I'm going to go in with the same mentality that I always go in. And like you said, I'm just going to provide the service that I always provide. And you know what I ended up finding out was that this person ran a very high octane business. They were extremely busy. I could feel the stress. And every time we got on the phone, I tried to just alleviate that stress of this process, to let them know, hey, you're in good hands here. We're going to take care of you. And I noticed even though for them, they didn't realize at the time that I had only really been doing it for about 2.5 years as a lender. And I feel like, it was nice at the end. It was kind of funny. She actually told me, she said, gosh, so, how long have you been doing this? Or you've been doing this like 10 years or something? And I was honest. I said, honest. And she said, I would have never guessed that, 2.5 years. And really, you know what it was? It wasn't that I was, doing anything special with the numbers or showing this product. It was all about the service and working with a partner that has the same mentality, that we're going to be service oriented. Everything else will fall into place.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Geoffrey,
absolutely.
for coming here
Yeah, it's my
today
pleasure.
and work and talking to the agents. I would love for you to just talk a little bit about offering your services. If
Sure.
you have.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I work for a company. Our company is called Willow Bend Mortgage. We are actually been in business for 30 years. We like to call us a boutique lender. Our corporate office is out of Plano, Texas. And the reason we say that is we have kind of the mom and pop feel to our company, with all the bells and whistles of a huge corporate company.
Yeah.
And that's what I love is there's an intimacy, not only about my service, but even for the company that I work with. We really are. We just had our big sales rally yesterday, and we're really like a family there. And I found this company and I just really feel at home with them. And so having that as my back, support, and then bringing my own service to it, we're ready to help clients from everything from first-time home buyers, right? Buyers that need help with their down payment through down payment assistance programs. We can help as you mentioned, our investors, our vacation rentals, our second homes, buyers that are looking to buy a big luxury property. Anything from your first home to your 10th purchase. We have ways that you can qualify without your tax returns as an investor, even as a primary resident. You're self-employed. We can take on unique and challenging deals, and we are ready to bring that service. And so,
I love that, because we have a unique situation right now going
that's right. Yep, absolutely.
with an investor. So thank you guys for joining us, and I pray that you guys have a great rest of your day.
Awesome. Okay, very good. Awesome. That was easy peasy, right?
It was.
Yeah.